Hey, what's up, my Radical Squad? Welcome back to my channel, and I hope everyone is having a great day today. I want to kind of circle back around to the subject of Jason Aldean and his song "Try This in a Small Town," and how some people are saying this song is racist. I watched the video, and in the video itself, it was showing a lot of imagery of protests, rioting, and different things like that. In the majority of the scenes, it was white people. In some of the scenes, you could see that some of the people were black people. Regardless of what color they was rioting or protesting or whatever you want to call it. And some people are saying that it has to do with the BLM movement. That movement I was never 100% for because of a lot of things that I seen going on that made me not trust them, made me not fully engage with them or wanted to be a part of them. And one of the things that I had a conversation with my mom about is that in some of the protests, well, a lot of the protests when things initially stores started getting broken into, banks was getting broken into, post office and things like that. It was done by a group called Antifa, which had nothing to do or cared about Black Lives Matter. The only thing they wanted to do is protest against the government. And they came in and kind of took over with the marching with the people that was marching with Black Lives Matter. And I was saying to my mom at that time, I don't understand why they don't separate themselves from the Antifa, why they don't denounce Antifa, why they don't say they are not a part of our group. They never said anything about Antifa when a lot of the damage and destruction that was going on was done by them. And it made the people, which was a lot of black people, it was white and black people marching, but it made the black people look bad as far as, oh, see, they can't have an organized protest. They cannot organize themselves without having destruction. But like I said, a lot of that destruction came from Antifa. So when I see that video and I'm seeing the things that's going on, a lot of the anger that I'm seeing is coming from white people. So how you know that they're not Antifa to say that this is about black people? It's like I had it up to here with them making everything about black people. As a person that grew up in the South, I can see that video. Like he didn't use any derogatory words in that video. You know, he basically was saying, you know, try that in a small town. We're not going to stand for it. We protect our own. I could see where there's a lot of, if you are looking for racism, you can find it in the song because it's a lot of undertones that goes along with races and how they have spoken and how they talk. And like I said, I know that personally from growing up in the South, that sometimes a person may say something, to them it's not racist, to them it's not a big deal, but as a black person hearing it, it is racist and it is a big deal. So I don't know the man, so I'm not going to say he's racist. I'm not going to say the song is racist. I'm going to say I don't care about the song either way because it doesn't affect my life as a black woman and it really doesn't affect any other black person's life. Unless a person physically put their hands on you, they have the right to say whatever they want to. You cannot change the heart of a racist person. You cannot change the mind of a racist person. The only thing you can do is separate yourself from them, walk away from them. And I want to kind of give you an example. When my son was younger, and I'm sure a lot of y'all understand what, or been to the monster truck, or know what the monster truck is. So my son was younger, he wanted to go there. So they came to town, I took him there. The majority of people in that audience was white people. When the type of person that I am, especially when my son was younger and I had him, when I'm in a crowd or in a space, the first thing I do is look for the exit, the closest exit to me, and just in case I can't make it to that closest exit, what is the next exit? So as I'm sitting, as we get to our seats, that's the first thing I do. I scan the whole area, looking to see where the closest exit was. And as I'm looking around, I'm seeing nothing but white people. And then the second thing I'm looking for is the black people. Is there any group of black people around me? So the black people I see, it's like they're way over yonder. It was like no black people close to me. And the ones that I did see, they was like already in their little group. With me, it was just me and my minor son, who was real young at the time. So that's the second thing I did. Like I said, first thing I'm scanning for the exit. Second thing I'm scanning for other black people, because I am surrounded by white people. As I'm looking through the crowd of white people, it's two things that I noticed. Some white people are there, they're just dressed in regular clothes. Other white people are there, they're dressed in Confederate. They have a Confederate flag on their shirt, they have a hat with Confederate flag. It's like the husband and wife and all the kids, they're in Confederate. So it's like I'm looking through that and I'm seeing all this. Like I said, some of the white people that's looking back at me that wasn't dressed in Confederate, they're looking at me like smiling, like, this is not us. You're okay. We're not. You're fine. Then I had some people that was looking at me that was dressed in Confederate with nothing but pure hate. They're looking at me like, how dare you even be in the same space that we're in? How dare you breathe the same air? And until you're face to face, I'm not talking about the internet hate, what a lot of people complain about. I'm talking about face to face hate, where you're looking at a person and you can feel the hate that they have for you. They don't know you and you don't know them, and you never did anything to them. And then you had some people, they really didn't care either way, regardless of how they dressed. They're just there to enjoy the show. They didn't care that you was there. They was just there to enjoy the show with the people they came with. So I've been in that environment. But my main focus was, I'm not going to let your hate for me stop me from bringing, because even before we got there, I already knew the type of environment I was walking into. So my son wanted to go there. I'm not telling him no, we can't go, because it's going to be, it's a lot of hateful people out there and they're going to be there and, this, that, and the other. No, he wanted to go. I'm like, okay, I went with him, just me and him. I didn't ask for anyone else to come, just me and him. And periodically during the show, I'm looking around, and I see a black police officer. He's standing on like the stairs that you used to go up and down, to get to your seats. He's standing there. We call eyes, so he kind of nodded at me. I nodded back at him. So periodically during the show, I'm looking back, and he was there like the whole time. Then when the show was over, we're getting ready to leave, and I looked back, and it's like he was gone. I didn't even see him leave or when he leave. I didn't know, exactly when he had left, but he had left. So we left, and the only thing I was concerned about was making sure my son was okay and making sure he enjoyed himself. And then when I had to go to the bathroom, I wasn't going to let my son just go to the bathroom by himself. I took him into the women's bathroom, and I honestly didn't care how they felt, what they was going to say, or anything like that, because we're in this big venue, it's crowded, and like I said, I don't know who's friend or foe, and the only person that looks like me in that crowd where I was my child. And my main thing was to make sure he was okay. So yeah, I brought him to the women's bathroom with me. They didn't say anything. And even if they would have said anything, I wouldn't have cared, because I'm going to do what I need to do to protect my son. And like I said, because, I'm not going to let how a person feel about me stop me from living my life. Because if I do, I'm giving them control. If I'm going to argue about a person singing a song that showed clips of different people rioting and different people breaking in, and he's saying try that in a small town, I'm not going to get mad at that, because if I do, then I'm allowing him to control my emotion. I'm allowing him to set the tone for my day. That's wasting time. That's useless. Why would you do that? And they always seem to want to drag black people into situations where they want them to get upset. They want them to get mad about a song that didn't have any racial words actually used in the song. Some people might have heard the song and felt that it was a racial song. Some people might have heard the song and seen the racial undertones in the song, or seen racial undertones in the song. It's just a song. It's if you're sitting there listening to that song to the point where it affects your life, then you need to stop listening to that song. And like I said before, I'm here about my Father's business. If it doesn't have anything to do with God, with what God wants us to do as Christians, what God wants us to do while we're here on this earth, it's a waste of time, it's a waste of energy, and it's a waste of emotion. And then another situation I want to talk to you about. There was a electronic store that we used to have back in the days called Radio Shack. I was on my way to Radio Shack. I don't even remember when I was going there to get it. So I parked my car, and across from me, a truck pulled up, and the truck had a Confederate flag on the front, and it was a pickup truck. And so it's different stores, so I had no clue where this person was going. So the guy, he got out the truck, he started walking, so now he's in front of me and I'm walking behind him. Then as we continue to walk, I see that, oh, he's going to Radio Shack just as I am. So when we get to the door, I'm thinking, because like I said, he got a Confederate flag in front of his truck. He got a hat on that had a Confederate flag on it. I get to the door, and I was surprised. He opened the door for me and held the door. And I'm like, thank you. And he's like, he nodded and kind of like grabbed his hat. And he said something like, ma'am, you're welcome, ma'am, or something like that. But, it's like in the South, when you grow up in the South and you come across people, even if they have Confederate flag on them, you really never know what type of person that you're going to get, because you can run across a person that dress normal and they're very, very racist, and they have no problem letting you know that they're racist. Or you can come across a person that you think going to be racist, think going to say something to you, and be the nicest person in the world. So you never know what you're going to get. So that's what I'm saying. It's a waste of time trying to figure out who's racist or who's not racist, and it's a waste of time and energy to allow them to control your temperature, to allow them to control you by what they say or what they may not say or something like that. As long as they're not putting their hands on you, like that situation in Alabama, they put their hands on that man, so he had every right to defend himself. He was getting jumped. It was people around that was like, no, we're not going to let this man get jumped, so they jumped in. As long as the person is not putting your life in danger, as long as the person is not putting their hands on you, they could be as racist as they want to be. They have every right to be racist. Their being racist have nothing to do with you. That's their ignorance. And if they want to be an ignorant person and live in their ignorance, let them. So stop dragging black people into things by saying, oh, it's racist. Oh, it's a racist tone. They meant this as racist. Did anyone, who got hurt? Because like I said, there's always going to be racist people. Did they put their hands on someone? Did they kidnap someone? What did they do to that person? Oh, they just said something? Okay, the person has every right to walk away. They don't have to sit there and argue with ignorance. Walk away. And like I said, because when you engage with people who are being ignorant, you're giving them control over you. You're giving them power over you. Don't do that. Don't just give your power away. Just like when in the Bible, in Luke 9:5, it says, well, Jesus sent out his disciples, and he told them, like, leave everything behind, don't take anything with you, just go out and preach the gospel, heal people, do everything like that. And if you come to a house or you come to a town and the person reject you or the town reject you, all Jesus said was shake the dust off your feet. And that was like against them, like separating yourself from them because they didn't want to hear you. So you're not, it's like you're not forcing yourself on them. You're not forcing what you have to say, your opinion, because even then Jesus knew it's not his job to change a person's heart. It's their job to want their heart to be changed. They have to ask for forgiveness. God never forced himself on anyone. So that's the same thing as his children. Why should we're not forcing ourselves on anyone. We're not going to force anyone to like us. Just shake off the dust and move and keep moving, keep going. And so, and you see that in Luke 9:5 as well as Acts 13, 50 through 51, where even with Paul shook the dust off his feet and kept going, kept moving, kept being about his Father's business. And that's how we have to be as children of God. We have to be about our Father's business. And like I said, we're living in an age now that if someone put their hands on you, someone put their hands on your kids, or someone put their hands on your property, you have every right to defend yourself. Even with my mom told me, because I used to get bullied in school. And one of the things my mom told me was, a person has every right to say whatever they want to say about you. That do not make them right. That do not make what they're saying about you true. As long as they don't put their hands on you, you don't put your hands on them first. She said, but if they ever hit you, make sure you hit them back as hard or just as hard or harder than they hit you, to let them know don't play with you like that. Don't it was like, and so because of that, I did get into 2 fights in school, and they put their hands on me first. I never put my hands on anyone first. And I got in other fights before, same thing. People put their hands on me first. And so, like I said, however you see, you can't just let people just manhandle you. You have every right to defend yourself. I'm not for violence, but I'm not going to tell someone, just let someone just handle you any type of way. If you're in a situation and you can walk away from that situation, walk away from that situation. But if you can't walk away, or if you're about to walk away, or if you're saying something and then the person decides they want to hit you, you have every right to hit back, regardless. And so, I think that's it. I think that's all I want to say. Peace.